So welcome to our class this week, week 3. Can you see on my screen the home page of our class? Right there, is that showing the home page? Okay, good. Well, how are things going so far? How was the assignment last week? I'll be able to get it graded sooner this week. Last week I had some troubles doing that, but this week I expect it will go faster. So my goal is to be done with grading by Wednesday at noon. Does anybody have any questions for me before we begin? All right, let me just go over what this week entails. And now we're into that third area. This is I think I clicked on the wrong one here. Hold on. Let me do that again. This week, we're going to be getting into the Dreamweaver interface even more. And we're going to learn about templates, and we'll understand templates and moving from design to reality. So we'll begin understanding basic HTML, and we might even get into a little bit of CSS this week. We've already gotten into it just a little bit. So let's talk about this discussion question tonight. As a web designer, you may be asked to use pre-made templates that have been purchased for your starting point. Is the use of these pre-made templates good or bad? Now, you might not know what that means. So, so let me show you when we use the word templates, what that means. All right, there's different understandings of what templates mean. So one understanding, remember how we went to the CSS Zen Garden, and the HTML of this file is a sort of template because it's the same HTML file for all those different designs. The thing that varies is the CSS file and the graphics. So this might be one context where you might say a template. But let me give you still another one that we've already looked at, and I'll bring it up again. The Dreamweaver interface. Here's another context for template. You recall that we talked about HTML and the templates. There were several that were in the CS6 file. So right here, if you click on Starter Templates, this is another context for the usage of the word template. And here is a Bootstrap template. And here you can see like a design. This is a pre-made design. Here's one for an e-commerce website. Here's one for a portfolio. This one is for a product page. Here's a Bootstrap for real estate. So the word Bootstrap and template are used together here. And a Bootstrap for resume, Bootstrap resume. We'll go over some of these later on so you can kind of get a feel for what templates are. Responsive starters, on the other hand, are where, if you remember, we talked about responsive design. If you can't recall what responsive design is, let me refresh your memory. Responsive design, I'll show you with the website of the company where I work. Responsive design is creating interactivity such that when the web page, when an individual on a smaller device comes to your website, the content automatically is pre-programmed to scale. So this is just to tell you how that works. And if you remember, what I did is I took the dimension of the display. We're kind of simulating coming to the website with a smaller display. See how that changes automatically? That's all pre-programmed to do that. The content is pre-programmed to respond depending on and then that's as small as it will go. See that? There's a different design right there. And the reason why it's different is because you have a larger display. So this is responsive design. And you can use templates to help you with that too. So back to Dreamweaver, see the responsive starters? Responsive starters, that means these are designs that are already pre-arranged to respond to the different size. So you can see here, an About page, this is what the About page would look like if you had a large display. But if it's a smaller display, it would look like this. You can see how it's reformatted, different sizes and so on, and scaling. And then an even smaller display, it would look like this. Now you might ask the question, do I lose information? And the fact is you just hide it. If your display and your design is set up such that it is not large enough to display it, then it's automatically hidden in these smaller designs. So for example, if you have images that are big enough to display when you are on a desktop, those same images will not be displayed, for example, on a smaller design that might be on your web, on your mobile phone. So these are all templates. See that? Starter templates. And these are individual pages. That's an About page starter template. Here's a blog post. You can see the different formats. And just, if you remember, the way that this responsive is done is using a media query. This is how responsive design is done, using a media query. Now what that means is your web page queries the device that you have in order to determine the dimensions. So it's doing a query on the media or device. So that's how it's dynamically done, using media queries. In other words, your web page will say, are you at least 1,000 pixels wide? If so, display this. If not, how about, are you greater than 700 pixels? If so, then display this. Else, display this. So it's kind of like an if, then, else based upon the width and even the height. Any questions at that point? These are templates. Different ways to use templates. Okay. And then e-commerce, when it uses the word responsive, think media query, think dynamic. Responsive means dynamic to the size of the screen. E-commerce web page, that's what it would look like on the big device, big display, medium. This would be a tablet typically. This would be a desktop monitor, and this would be like your smartphone. And then here, email, and here's even a sample portfolio, responsive design. So the question this week is, are templates good or bad? Are there pros or cons? And we'll be talking about those more here. This here are site templates. That's actually a different thing because it deals with the entire website. And we're not getting into site management in this class. We're just getting into pretty much the page layout. So there's another context for template. Now, let me show you another context for template. Now, these are all pertinent to the discussion of template. So far, we've seen templates that were individual web pages. We've seen templates in Dreamweaver. And now we've seen a template here with individual web page, an HTML file, and Dreamweaver. Now let's switch gears and download a template. And they're free. Many of them are free. Some are paid. Free Dreamweaver templates. So Adobe Dreamweaver, I believe, has some on their website. Now this, you have to be a little bit careful here with this offer. This is an ad. Yes, it is free, but this is slightly different, and we'll talk about this in a moment. This is a website that has templates on the website rather than downloadable to your computer. Okay? So we'll talk about that because that's another type of template that we need to discuss here in just a moment. Slightly different. Here we can click on 30 free Dreamweaver templates, and nice to know that they are 45 responsive website templates. That word responsive is really important right now because of the fact that so many individuals are searching the web and surfing the web with their smartphones. That's why it's so important to keep that in mind. So here are sample templates that you just click on the button to download. This demo kind of gives you an idea of what the template will look like. It's like a sample. You click demo. Sample design. Once again, it's responsive. Let's try our little test here and see how it responds. See that? It's automatically changing what it displays based upon the size of the display. I'll just do a couple more here. I always like doing the responsive design test because it's pretty interesting to see how the designer responds to the different size. See how the navigation bar is wrapping? Quite interesting. I'll just do one more. All right, so another example of a responsive. Now these are free. So this would even use a CSS3. So now you can see what it looks like. I'll show you how to download the file. I'll just do an example one here. So I just click download. And then I'll extract it. So here you can see a whole website, at least the home page. So this came with the template. So this is index, that's a home page. And you can see it's not, when you just look at the index.html, this is kind of like that CSS Zen Garden. There's no styling. But if we open this up, it'll pull images, it'll use the fonts, it'll use even pull in the creative styling, cascading styling sheets, and then here it even brings in JavaScript. Now this is definitely outside our comfort level for this course, but we are focused on using images, and we'll be talking about CSS next week, and then HTML. So I'm going to open this up. I'll double click on it, and you can see here it's opening that file right from my hard drive because I downloaded it. And you can see the header is static in that it's not moving. Everything else is scrollable underneath. That's a nice design aspect. Now watch this over here, because as I scroll down, it jumps from home to about to portfolio to blog to contact. So watch that up there. So in this section there's the about. Now portfolio, it'll jump. There it went, jumped. Here's the blog. It'll jump to blog, and then scroll down, and we get to contact us, and it'll jump again. Bam. So all the pages are right here on one page. See, this is all navigable right in the design. So there's not separate pages, but one long page that has local links on it. Now, we are opening this file right there, the index file. And we're looking at it in a browser. Now, what happens if we open up this index file in Dreamweaver, from within Dreamweaver? I went to the downloads folder, extracted it, it's right here. So this is a downloaded template. It's just an HTML file. If I click that and click open, it will open it in Dreamweaver. This is the vertically split. This is the code view here. And then over here, we have the display. Now, again, this is just an HTML file. It does have content for each of these links, and so it's not like we need to generate any additional pages because they're all right here. Down here we have device preview, and that is where we can preview on the different devices, kind of like we did on Google Chrome. This is actually a new feature in 2015. Visual query, media queries bar. This is the one that I was telling you about, how it dynamically will scale based upon the media query. So here we would just edit this file and put in our own content. So this is a type of a template that we would do. And So that's another example of a template. And I'll close this one out. And there's another one that I want to show you. And file, new, these HTML template here. This one is another type of template that you can save as template, and you can create your own design here of a page. And if you save it as a template, then you can make it so that there will be editable areas, and these editable areas are where you would change the content on one page to the next. So, this is, you do file, save as template, and you have to first set up these regions, editable regions. And for example, in the body, you would insert, in fact, what I'll do is I will jump into a previous version so you can see how it worked in Adobe Dreamweaver 6. They don't do it this way anymore, but I just want to show you the concept. In these later versions, they don't use Dreamweaver templates so much. So file, new, and then see all these right here? This is kind of like the old way, and these are templates. And let's say we chose 3-column left sidebar liquid. Let's see that one. Click create. Now, we saw this briefly last week. If we do a file and save as template, then this will become the template page of all the web pages of our particular website. So this is another way of doing a template. So what I would do in order to prepare for that is I would select this section here, and I would create an editable region. Like that. And we would name it something. We can go with that. And then file, save as template. Templates are actually associated with sites, and we really haven't gotten too much into sites, so I'll just try to do a save here, and then I'll write it out. So once you do that, then you can do file, new, and the template itself, you can do page from template. And this template, page from template, is one that you have just saved and modified. Now, let's go with this one here, because that's the one I just did. And in this area, I would delete the content and put in custom content. And for example, with our homework, this could be the text page, and we could just do a file, save as, we put it in week 3. And we would create the text.html, for example. And here, it would say, do you want to take advantage of that particular template? I think that that way we can do, then we would do another one, file new, and then page from template, same thing. Create. And, whoops, I meant to do the other one there. See, page from template, this one here, hit create. And then we would delete this area. And here we would do our images. Let's say we inserted images. Insert an image. I'm going to see if I can grab an image from week 2. I know I've got one over there. Go to the week 2 folder. Oh, I have to save it first. I'm going to back out just because this is another example of template. I'm going to cancel that. And then we do file, save as, and this would be the images. Now, the nice thing about having these templates is these types of templates, this is a Dreamweaver template, DWT file, is you can make changes in the original template itself, and those changes will automatically propagate to, I think I'm pointing to the CSS Zen Garden website, and I wanted to be pointed to this other one. So you make templates in the original template itself, and when you save the template file, it will automatically update all the other files that were made from that template automatically. So I think I probably am close to showing you how that's done, but rather than spending more time on that, I just want to back out because I want to focus on this, focus on the discussion question itself. And so now you see all these different types of templates. So that's what we're talking about when we say pre-made templates. One final one that I want to show you is this, this one that showed up in the Google search right here, this Wix.com. It says free website templates, create a setting the site for free. Now the difference between these here, these are online and they stay online, all these templates. They're not so much they're not the kind that you download and edit on your local drive. They are templated. As you can see, they call them templates also. All these different categories of templates. But these stay online. These websites end up being hosted strictly online. This is not the kind of thing that you would download, because you can see there's no download thing like on the other one. This is just you choose it and then you customize it, modify it online. This too would be considered a template, just so you know that's part of this discussion. So back to the question, as a web designer, you may be asked to use pre-made templates that have been purchased for your starting point. Is the use of these pre-made templates good or bad? So let's talk about that right now. Does anybody have any feedback now that you've seen what templates are and what you might like about them, or perhaps not like? I'm looking for the chat box. What are some of your observations at this point? Okay, Sarah says the remade ones or pre-made ones with Wix are hard to use if you have specific ideas pre-made. Okay, so Jason's pointing out a positive of templates is that you can just start with it already built and then you just customize it. Christopher says, I believe it could be good for beginners, but for someone with experience, it might be confining. That's very accurate. We do not use templates at my company where I work. We customize and create content from scratch. The front end developers work mainly in CSS and creating images, and they use JavaScript to communicate back to the back-end server. The HTML is then generated by the back-end scripts and they come forward. Scotty says, like Wix.com, all you do is replace the text and drag and drop your images. Yeah, so as you can see, there's a lot of tools that are out there, ways to do template. Now, this is one of the reasons, let me show you this graphic here. I don't know if I've showed this to you already. If you go to a job site called Indeed.com and type in, for example, HTML5, this is the latest HTML, and click Find Jobs, you'll see that there's a lot of jobs that require this particular skill. 17,000 of them. And look at the pay range between 65,000 and 110,000. And you don't have to be full-time. You could be a contract person, work part-time, and even internship. Now let's go down to the bottom and click on this link called Trends and see here the trends of HTML5. This means the number of jobs in their database that had that keyword in it. Let me type in HTML without the 5 to show you that. So that big peak there, but then here from January 2012 down to middle of last year, it was decreasing. It started to pick up a little and it's tapered a little bit more. So my theory is that this downturn of jobs needing HTML may be a function of websites like this Wix.com, because this website does not require you to learn any HTML. So it makes me wonder about that. Another possibility for this trend, this downward trend of jobs needing HTML, could be, for example, Facebook. Facebook is a way for companies to put up their website, or individuals. So those are just my theories as to why the downturn of HTML. I think if we put in CSS also, we would see a similar trend downward. But beginning of this year, it peaked back up. Looks like it tapered off after a month or two. So these are just keywords being used in job descriptions so that we know how popular this particular skill is. So this may be because of templating websites like Wix.com, and that don't require you to know HTML. Our our class, we really want you to become familiar with HTML and CSS, just so that you're not totally unprepared for other classes like that are coming along in the curriculum. So back to the question, and it looks like everyone's kind of had their answers now. Is it good or bad? And I think you've hit it pretty well. The good is that it starts you off right away, and you can start developing code right away. The bad, it's restrictive if you want to do some nitty-gritty customized things like scripting and additional work that would require HTML skills or CSS skills or even JavaScript skills. Jason said that a company that hired me built their own website using Weebly.com. I was hired to fix their template. Weebly, yeah. I was going to say, I think that's Weebly. Weebly.com is just like Wix.com. They compete for the same thing. They make their money if you decide to upgrade and host your website there. See, they use the word themes. And themes are the same concept that we've been using as templates. Once again, these are the kind that you do not download. They stay online. You just choose them, and then you make changes to them. See, there's no download button here. How many of you have heard of Square.com? Square is a competitor to Wix and to Weebly. And this is an e-commerce generated website that you choose your own template, and you set up your web page according to that. So these things I think are all what are lending themselves towards this trend here. So Square Up. Wix, Weebly, all online templates. Sarah says she's used the actual product. Which product is that, Sarah? Oh, Square Reader. Yeah. That's the thing you stick in your phone there. No, the magnetic tape reader. So those are all ways to think about when we're talking about this question of using templates. So at this point, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself opting for the template, the online template, the downloadable template, start from scratch? Where do you see yourself in this whole picture? Yeah, it would be for your portfolio or for your project, you know. We're using Dreamweaver and other you know, where you can start from scratch or you can download a template and yeah, Scotty says the online template like Wix.com is fast and easy to understand, But at the same time, it's nice to know how to do things from scratch. All right, so when you search for things about this, you can type in pros and cons of using website templates. So this would be a good search. In fact, what I'll do is just grab this. Pros and cons of using website templates. Back to the text screen, here we go. I'll just put the link there. You can click on that link, and that would be something you can use in making your discussion post this week. Are there any further questions on the discussion? Do you have a pretty good idea now of what the word template, as far as a website is concerned? There's one other I thought of sharing with you, and I'll do it while you're responding. It's WordPress. It's very popular. WordPress has themes. And this, again, is a type of system. It's kind of like the Wix and so on. This is like blog related, and they let you really do some customization. This is actually a website I've used before, templatemonster.com. If you click on it, I'll just show you what that looks like. Templatemonster.com has, let's go to the home page here. They call it Template Monster because they have templates for web templates. See, there's the responsive template. Remember we talked about responsive? Let me just go over these major categories. Let's see, web templates. CMS templates, that stands for Content Management System. And there you can see WordPress fits in there. Content Management System is really a system that helps drive the content of your website. See this Drupal right here? Our website uses Drupal. We do our own custom development of web pages, but we also take advantage of Drupal because we are in like 4 languages. Here it is right here. If you click here, we just got English and Spanish, but over here, you can see we've got German, Spanish, French, and English. And that's a lot of content to take care of. If you've got a website and you've got to have it the same website in different languages, you might think, well, how do you pull that off? Because it's all done in a different language. Well, the way we do this is the HTML itself is the same from one language to the next. The thing that varies is the strings, these words. So we dynamically pull out these words for the French website, once you choose French, or if you choose Spanish, we're dynamically pulling these words out and we're plugging them into the HTML website. And so the place we pull them out of is a system called Drupal. See that right there? Drupal. And that's Content Management System. So we take advantage of the text availability system of Drupal, and we plug it into our website so that we have one website, but we have 4 sets of all the words. One's in English, one's in German, one's in French, one's in Spanish. and we marry the two, the website, with that particular language of content. But it also not only does it generate words, but it also manages graphics too. So because sometimes our graphics have Spanish on it, written on the graphic. And if it's a graphic, it also is managed by this Drupal system. So my point is that there are different ways of managing the content of a website, and this is one of them. WordPress is classified as a content management system. Drupal, same thing. E-commerce template, this is a website that's specifically designed for doing shopping cart software. And each of these are different vendors that provide templates. So when you talk about web design, it's really creating a layer on top of any of these different ones. Flash and Media. Flash is actually another tool for creating web content. So each of these are types of systems underneath, but they each come with different vendors and each giving you the ability to put in your own layer of user interface and change the design. So they have templates that sit on top of their system that you can then tweak and change, just in the same way as the other websites have templates and allow you to change that content. So I just wanted to mention WordPress, and then I showed you about Drupal there also, content management system. Yeah, we do it in different languages, 4 different languages. We have our web page has one call, meaning a function call that says, give me the word replacement for this. And it's kind of like does a dynamic Google Translate, but actually we have all the words are translated into 4 different languages, all the phrases and so on, and all the images are done in 4 different languages, and the website dynamically pulls that content from our servers. This is something you won't need to worry about, this localization of websites, but we have to worry about it because we use the word localization, and localization means to localize the content for a particular market. And we're going to be eventually getting into Japan, and in Japan they have characters that are very strange, and so Drupal is going to have to manage that too. The character set of Japanese characters will have to be part of our Drupal system. So these are all ways to template a website. These are different systems that allow you to add templates on top of them. And so, all right, well, we're getting close to a time for a break. Does anybody have any questions before we take a break? Some of these are, they charge you for it. How would you like to become a template designer where you design these templates, upload it, and make some money off of people downloading your design? You can see the template is for these different types. That's Joomla, that's for Drupal, or rating. So what are your impressions so far about this whole area of website design and templates? What are your observations? Does it seem complex? Do you see the do you see the different opportunities for technology development that's going on? All right. Well, let's take a break here. Let's take a 10-minute break. And then after that, we'll resume with the assignment. Okay? All right. See you in 10 minutes. I thought if anybody wanted to, during the break, to go over their homework or share their homework, from last week. By the way, I put that link right there. So if you click on it, it'll do a search.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
This with the fact I didn't have Dreamweaver on my laptop because it wound up being, this is my second laptop, and when I realized I was gonna need it was when we had to do this second assignment, and it did not pan out like it was supposed to. So I wind up having to get in touch with Adobe, and that took forever. And by the time I did, it was too late for me to do my assignment, which I'm working on now.
Did you get Dreamweaver?
I finally got it.
Okay. Jason Merrill is the one working with individuals to help.
Okay. My other thing is when I went to the videos that I looked at on YouTube were identical, and it did not help me when it came to what to do for the assessment.
The test, the quiz?
Yes. Yes. The different videos with the numbers 3 and 4 like that, they were, when I went to YouTube, they wind up being the same as the one that I actually watched. So I was not able to even start on the.
Let's see.
Yeah, because I emailed you about it because I went back to it again.
This is 158,
Welcome to
51. That was number 3, I think.
And then 4.
This is 225.
All right, let me share my screen.
So 3 and 4 are definitely different videos.
Well, when I clicked on it, and I went through it, it appeared to be the same. So number 4 would be the one that I need to complete looking at for the test.
Well, I actually didn't go over each test question, but I did.
No. I mean, at least for me to have an idea. I mean, because I normally with the assessment, there is some things that they just say go and look at that, and you can have an idea where the answers are. But other than that, I mean, I'll just go on and do the assessment and stuff.
So it was
Because
158, 151.
class is totally new to me.
Yeah, I used W3 Schools, and I showed how to go and look up tags in the W3 Schools. So
Okay.
that was number 4, but I'm just going to confirm that the other section has the proper linkage on the lecture 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are definitely different videos. One is lecture 3, the other one's lecture 4. Lecture 4 is the one that you need to watch in order to learn about HTML and the test. That'll help with the
Okay.
test. Yeah, I moved ahead here, and I think it's going to jump ahead here and show us.
Yeah, sure.
See this website, w3schools.com?
I've got a question for you. For the images, when we put an image in using the image source tag,
Now that was the same like the first one, right?
No, this is lecture number 4, and here you can see it's talking about the various HTML tags,
Okay.
and that is exactly what the assessment's about.
Okay. All of the tags. Okay.
And I actually set the assessment to be able to take 2 times. So
Okay.
I did that because it's just a little, complex. It's
Right.
a first for everybody. So I
Okay.
just went ahead and set that. So you'll be able to take it once and then take it a second time.
Okay. All right. That's what I needed to know because it was really hard trying to get in touch with Adobe since I could not get IT on at the school to help me out for some reason or other. It wasn't after I deleted uninstalled Adobe what I had, and then to reinstall it was not acting right after it accepted my code, my student redeem thing, and so I had to wait on Adobe to be open, get a 24/7 number because what I had was not open 24 hours, and so I had to kind of play, I guess, tag around my tail until I got somebody that knew where to direct me to get what I needed to get, and then start installing and downloading.
Yeah, see, the person, I think Adobe will probably take you to a site where they'll let you download a trial one, but we actually in the school can download it and not be just a trial.
Right. I did do the one from the school, but it would not download Dreamweaver.
Hmm.
And so IT from the school could not help me. It took everything, but when it came time for me to download Dreamweaver, it did Photoshop, but it would not do Dreamweaver. That's when they told me I had to get in touch with Adobe, because most likely they had the old key on my laptop or something, and they had to take that off on their end. So I wind up finally getting in touch with them, and I had to give them permission to be able to have access to my laptop, and they had to do a lot to be able to get it where I could download Dreamweaver.
Okay.
So I finally got it.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I finally got it. But I was like, I hope I don't have to have another laptop. But for some reason or other, this laptop was acting weird. So. But,
All right. So are you good?
yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
All right. So I just was looking at the text messages. Jason said the test is basic knowledge from the textbook. Christopher says I can go back and take it again to improve my score. The answer is yes. It'll keep the highest score of the two. Sky says, yep, that's what I did on the test. And then Jason said, if we take the quiz again now, would we get charged late points? That's a great question, Jason. The answer is no, you will not get charged late points, because the assessments are automatically graded, and so they don't automatically kick in late points for being after the date. So no late points. You can retake it and do better. All right, it's time to to end our break. So now let's focus on the assignment. Oops, I keep going back to week 2. All right, so week 3 assignment, building your website in HTML. So here's my question. Do you think that this is starting with from scratch, or do you think that this is starting with a template? When you read through it, what's your impression? This week, you'll create all the web pages of your website in HTML based on your creative brief, sitemap, and wireframes. Create your various buttons in Photoshop or Illustrator using layers so you can update or change them, save all your button files as PSD files, and export them as GIF, JPEG, or PNG files. By the way, another instructor is teaching her students about creating buttons using CSS. But just thought I'd mention that. Using these buttons, you'll create the navigational system you created for all the pages of your website, just as you did in your wireframes. Populate the appropriate web pages, usually portfolio pages, with designs you've created in your previous courses for those items for which you do not have images or do not have enough images. You will want to create correctly sized placeholder images that fit your design scheme. Write a small blurb for your about or bio page. Create any additional text, including captions, as appropriate. Have fun, but don't forget to employ the best design principles. Test your entire website in your favorite browser before submitting. So, let's start working on this. Any questions before I begin? Yeah, it's okay if you've already made the buttons. That's fine. So I can start either from scratch. Or I can even start with downloading a sample and then editing it and removing extra stuff. Let's start by just from scratch, just to be, and then we can make sure we at least understand that. All right. So this will be a lot like last week when we created that index.html. So create a new HTML document. Try again, file, new. I'm going to go back out and come back in because I want to have the same experience that you guys have. Dreamweaver 2015. Yeah, that dialog, I clicked on it and the dialog wasn't there. Okay, I click create. And it puts this in here automatically. This is HTML that it just starts off with this. It's HTML5. So first thing I do, I want to save this. So file, save as. And let's do week. Week 3. And let's start off by naming it index.html. Just a blank, it's a blank screen right now. You might say, well, why is it blank? Well, it's blank because there's nothing between the two body tags. If we type this in and then click over here, and there it is, it's showing up. What shows up in this white square is only what you see between the body tags, body, okay? So, one of the things that I haven't yet taught you about, and is this div tag. In fact, last week I went right down this list here with one of the students. When I did my lab, I just went right down this list using each of these tags. Div tag is, I think it's short for divider, but it's a place to you can create areas on your design that are focused on, for example, a div tag, a div area for the header, or a div area for the footer, or a div area for the body of content. So let's start off by doing a div tag. I'm going to delete this text. I can delete it right over here. Delete. This, by the way, this NBSB, that's just a hard space. It's a little code for the space, like as in space you get when you type on the keyboard, space. So we'll do insert div tag, and we can create classes. We can call this header class. That's the type of, if we have lots of things, div tags with the header class, the ID is actually where we give it a specific name. So it created a div tag in there, and within the div tag, we can put things like a header. And I'll hold off right now because it's nice to have the links to the other files that we're going to be creating here shortly. So this is a div tag, and then we can have another div tag, insert another div tag. Call it body. And then eventually we'll have another div tag. We can do another div tag after. And that one could be a class of footer. I'm just going to copy this and put it in there because it didn't give me the chance to enter it. And I'm just going to call it footer. All right, so we've got div tags. Each of these are going to be 3 sections. We'll hold off on linking to other web pages, but it's good to have just the dividers in there. Now, let's say our design had an about page. So here we can do, we have index.html already created, so we can actually do file, save as, and then we can do about.html. And that will create a copy of that as a file about. We can also, let's say we have an about page, a portfolio page, file, save as, the portfolio. And see, we'll have a contact portfolio, for example. So we'll do another one. File, save as, and then we'll do this contact. So now we have 4 files here, index, see, about, portfolio, contact. And the index page, we come back to that. Up in this header area, We could put the navigation bar. We can put the link for a logo if we have one. The navigation bar, for example, would be links like we did last week. We'd have a link to the About page. And we can just select that. And then we can do insert hyperlink over here. Oh, actually, there, we can just take that one right there. And click browse, and there's the About page. Click open. Hit enter. So that would be that. Eventually we can put in a button instead of the text, but for right now I'll just put in the text. See, if you ever want to put like hard spaces in there, so that it would, because normally it would just eat the spaces, but we can put in, if you remember, we had that non-breaking space. I think this is the, oh, actually we'll put the code over here to do that. Let's make several of those. There's a question I need to answer. Trying to get to the chat. Here we go. Yeah, this is like week 2 assignment. Yeah, we will add more detail this time. Yeah, the index page would be considered the home page, yes. And BR, is that the code for breakpoint or break line break? Yeah, that's right. So let's see, we don't want to put the spaces inside the anchor tag. We want those outside. So I move it outside over here, put it there. And then it's good for us to have home actually as the first page to link to. So the home page, which would be index.html. So I'm going to type in home. And let's come look over here. We got home and we got about. I'm going to make a copy over here in the code view. I'm going to make a copy of these non-breaking spaces, and I'm going to put them in between here. See, now the anchor tag, I just want the anchor tag. See, the anchor tag, you can see now, is now up around that home. And I actually want that out. So I'm going to cut this out right here and paste it right here. Because I just want the anchor tag to be right around about. See, the one that goes to about.html, I just want that around about. And then here, that's just hard spaces. So let's double click on this guy, do a link. This one, we're going to have homepage go to the index.html. Now we are editing the index.html right now, which is fine. It's okay to link to the page. So we got home and about, and let's go over here. Got home, 1, 2, 3. Maybe I'll do one more here. Paste. The non-breaking space means it's going to, normally if you just put spaces in there, normally in HTML, we can put lots of spaces, but it's weird. The browser is going to convert all those into just one space, even though we put all those spaces in there. That's why we have to do this non-breaking space, because that way the browser says, okay, I'm not going to eat all those spaces like I normally do, because that's what it does. It just eats them all into just one unless you do this non-breaking space. So we got an anchor tag, href index.html. It's going to go to home, and then the end anchor tag, and we got all this non-breaking space in here. I can either delete that space there or leave it. And watch, I'll move along here, and it's going to wrap here in just a second right there. So there's no spaces out in there. Well, we do have these non-breaking spaces. So we got 4 of those. About.html, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 after that. And then let's do another. I'm just going to grab these here. Let's see. Not even sure what this particular tag is. Okay, that's the indiv tag. I'm not ready for the indiv, so I'll push that one down. By the way, if you want, you can actually kind of format these. How you format these inside the editor really doesn't matter to the browser. As you can see, I just did a line wrap because I got them all on the same line. Because I can then do like this really easily. Just copy and paste. And let's see. Home, about, let's see, portfolio. See how I'm just editing the code directly rather than doing it over here? And then I think contact is one. Got to change the file that it goes to. Contact. And then we can save the whole thing. So I'm going to click over here. Now I've got home, about, portfolio, and contact. And if we bring it up in the browser, I want to you can just bring up the browser. I double click that, so I click on home, it'll just come back to here. So because this home link brings it back to home. Click about, go to the about page, portfolio, goes to the portfolio page, contact goes to the contact page. Now we don't have the headers in the other files, so what you can do is copy and paste that into the other files. Let's see. All right, so I've got these different files. So what I can do is I can just copy the header all the way, the header div tag, all the way there. I did a Command C, And then I can come over here into the about, and I'm going to replace this, delete that, and paste in the header. So and I'll save that. And by the way, what I'm doing here is all done manually, but this is one of the things that the Dreamweaver templates, that DWT file, that automated one that I didn't get too far showing it to you. It's I brought up CS6 to do it. That's what that is so good about, because you just modify the DWT file, and all these other are like child pages to that, and they instantly will get changed. But I'm having to do it manually here. You see how I'm kind of going through the code and copying and pasting, and it's kind of a tedious procedure, very prone to error. Yeah, Christopher says, Sky says, could we pull up the assignment we did for week 2 and build on that? And yes, you can. You can change file names and that, and you can use that to be your starting point. And then Christopher said, that is exactly what I meant about it being confining. You would have to search for a long time to find a template that is close to what you want. And even then, you are likely to want to make changes, which is really exactly what the discussion question is about. Do you want to start from scratch, or is it a good thing or a bad thing to use templates, or do you do a little bit of both? So, by the way, if you see a little asterisk next to the file name, that means the file's been changed, and you have to save the changes. So now that I did that, I'm going to click on the about here, and now watch this, the file name that's up here. Watch that. It changes. Bam, bam, bam. See, right now, all my pages are alike. They're just identical in content. All right, so we've got kind of like a nav bar and text there. Let's see. The div, the div can have all these different attributes: alignment, class, hidden. These are all different attributes for just the div tag. That's one thing you can do, is by putting a space before the closing bracket, you can see all the different attributes. All these attributes are pertinent to just this one tag right there. These are all the different attributes that you can assign to an anchor tag, which is a lot. So let's see what it looks like when we do a body. Hit space. You can see these are all pertinent attributes of the body tag. So the portfolio page, you can, in the body area, can begin inserting the graphics of your portfolio. Oh, you can do it over here, insert image. Oh, thank you. Now I think I undid it too much. Let me back up. Insert image. Let's say that we're an item from my portfolio. And it's basically saying, hey, you're trying to add a file that's over in another area. Do you want to copy it over? Say yes. Let's see where that ended up. Let's see, div class body. Okay, that's good. Week 2 assignment. I think I'll undo that. Should have a bunch of graphics ready to go. So content for class body goes here. Okay, there's the end of the div tag. So my insert ended up putting it outside of the class body. So what I want to do is, if I grab that, Command X, and I'm just going to select this here and paste it. Let's insert a paragraph tag. In fact, I think I'll undo this and put a paragraph tag and then insert an image and see how it responds here. So now we have, see the open and close of the paragraph tag. You have to be really careful here because I wanted to have a carriage return the paragraph, the effect of the paragraph I like, and because so let's see here. I want to either move the image tag up inside there or move paragraph tag outside of it. Okay, so, and then here I'm going to delete all this content. So now we have the body tag, the image tag, and then, oops, I think I accidentally deleted the paragraph tag. So I brought that back. Paragraph, open paragraph tag, body, div, body, open paragraph, image, close paragraph. So let's do that again. Let's see, insert a paragraph. And let me see if I can insert an image right in there. Did it do it? This is the content for layout. So I did it. Okay, good. Let's get rid of this. Just the dummy content there. So hit enter. Let's do it again. Paragraph and then image. So you can see the open paragraph tag, the image, followed by the closed paragraph tag. And we always want to be inside the div tag because this div tag opens, this div tag closes. Let's see, start off with a paragraph, then go add the image. And then delete the text that's extra. All right, so you're probably getting the idea. You can size these if you want. These all have built-in sizes to the pixels that the image already came with. Yeah, Christopher said you can use that extra text as a title for the image. Sometimes see if there's a figure, it's the header and the footer sections. Oh, there's a figure right there. The figure tag is another way to do an image because it has a figure caption, fig caption. In fact, this might be a more appropriate we have figure and then the fig caption. Yeah. I'm almost done. Here, I think I'll go downstairs. So the figure is a new HTML tag. Let me bring that up just so you can get a feel for that. HTML5 figure W3 schools. So the figure, you put the image tag. See, I've been using the paragraph tag to go around the image tag, but let's change that in here from, instead of, excuse me one second. It's my QA manager at work. Sorry, I didn't turn off my phone. So instead of paragraph tag, let's use the figure tag. Now we could insert it using this, or we can just get in there like this and go figure, open figure, close figure. So I'm replacing the paragraph tags with figure tags. Figure. Figure. I could do a search and replace, possibly. Edit, find and replace. I'm going to go for P greater than, because I want to hit both the open P's and the closed P's, so I get the last part of it there. So figure, find next, replace. See, I'm getting the closed one too. Place, replace, and I think I'm done. Okay. So then, see this little asterisk right there? That means I have some unsaved changes, so I do a Command S. Now, so that's using a figure tag instead of paragraph tag. Better choice. Paragraph is really for text, and it does a hard return, so on. So another thing that's nice about the figure tag is inside the figure tag, you can do a figure caption. Figure caption. It's actually the figure caption. See, a caption is for a table caption, but I want a figure caption. Figure caption. Oops, that wasn't the link I wanted. It's this link I want right there. Oh, it's fig caption. That's what I was looking for, fig caption. So now the fig caption comes after the image tag, but before, see, and you got open, close, and it comes before the closed figure. So, so it'd be something like this. And I wish they had fig caption over here, but I didn't see it. See, this is not a comprehensive list of all the HTML you can do. It's just the more popular tags. So let's do that fig caption. See it pops up in here, which is kind of too. You click enter, and then we'll go map of France. We can type it, and then watch. We just close it, and it knows exactly what tag we want to close. So I did a slash, and that's what it did. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to copy that row, come down here, and okay, I've got to be inside the figure tag. I'll paste that. And so then this is, that's the file name. I just copy the file name and use, oh, it's not map of French, man, map of France. Gotta get this right. I speak French. I actually lived in France for a little bit, a while ago. Okay, so let's change this. Instead of map of French, we're gonna paste the thing. They even misspelled alcohol, but that's the name of the file, so we can't muck with that. So map of, I'm just creating the, let's see, alcohol consumption around the world. Now this is the file name, so that needs to say exactly like it is, but this is text, and so I can actually change it. So How far are we? Let's see. We've got figure. Fig caption. Can remove that. Got a figure. See, another figure. Got 2 more figures. Let's see, figure. Go right in there. Open, close, fig caption. Gonna grab those 2 and then come down here and paste that. So now I'm ready to go. Let's see. Map of countries that use metric. Let's see. I'm just going to say metric countries. And then down here, I'm going to type right inside there. Let's see, map of Pangea. Okay, see the asterisk right there? I use this Command S to save it. And let's go back to our web page and click on portfolio and see what we get. There we go. So we clicked on portfolio and it uploaded. It opened the file. See, now we're missing our header stuff. I noticed that I was missing. I don't know why it went missing. I assumed I put it in there, but let me put it back. So I have to go to a different file, copy it, come back to this file, make sure I'm after the body tag, before this other div tag, do a Command S, come back to this screen, and then click portfolio. And there I've got the links are back. See this right there? That's the fig caption right there. Map of France. See that? Fig caption. All right, so we've got div tag, image tag, paragraph, heading. Header. That's the body. Let's see, I think I'll do a heading. I'll Command Z that. See that H6 right there? I'm going to click there and I'm going to go for an H3 instead. That's my work, for example. See the H3? H3, close H3. Table tag, figure, unordered, ordered, list item, hyperlink. See, there's the portfolio. About information, you can just put text in there. This is the index. This is a portfolio page. Let's try this. I'm going to, instead of using div tags with class header, I'm going to take this header I've just typed it. Paste, open header, and now the close div tag, which is down here. We're not doing a div tag anymore. We're doing a close header. A header. Let's save it. Come here, refresh it. You got to do a refresh even though you changed the file. Come back. Header. Instead of the div tag, we can just use the header tag. I'm going to div tag with class equals header. Instead, we can just do header tag. So I'm going to replace all that. Save it. Let's see. Save it. Portfolio, we already got it. Contact, we're going to replace it. So the HTML5 header tag, what is header tag right here? The header element represents a container. That's what we have it for introductory content or a set of navigational links. So these are navigational links and they're inside our header. All right, well, we're getting close to having to wind down here. Oh, Christopher told me when I backed up, I ended up removing it. I did a Control-Z too far. All right, well, if you'd like to stay after and get some help, feel free to do that. And thank you very much for coming. Let's see, next on Wednesday night, we're going to go over the assessment. Thanks, everybody. Go ahead and stay if you want. And we can work over whatever. Have a good evening.
So this was going over building your site.
Right, from scratch.
Okay, and the div class are just like placeholders.
Yep. Yep. They're kind of like area.
To split the areas up.
Yep. You can let's bring it up here. HTML div. Defines a division or a section in an HTML document. Group block elements to format them with CSS. We'll get into CSS next week for layout.
So basically, it's just like the paragraph titles, only they just give you your different sections, so you know the div class header is just where all of your header information goes. The div class body is where all of your body stuff goes.
Yep. In fact, I'll show you an example of CSS Zen Garden, how they use the div tag. Let's pick a design here. We'll pick this one. And if you look at the HTML file, so this is the sample HTML file from the CSS Zen Garden. Good night, Jason. Good night, Scotty. And here you can see the usage of div tag. See it right there?
Yeah.
Div class equals page wrapper, classical summary, classical's preamble, classical's main supporting. So they've got these, it's like a division of your page.
Couldn't you use the same thing with like columns though? Only they're like invisible columns instead of having actual borders around them.
When you say columns, you mean tables?
Like you make a table layout like this one, they have the selected design and that in a section of a table, the one above it in another section.
Yes. Am I hearing you say, why don't we just use tables to format?
No, I'm asking because I was thinking of that with my layout because of the way I want to do the images and stuff in the portfolio.
It's not the article I want to read. That you saw. So the graphic designers have kind of have requested to kind of be released from the usage of tables. Tables were originally really used a lot for formatting.
And this is what I was thinking, because this would be your table. You'd have your header, your navigation would be your main rows with one column, and then your section, article, and aside would be 2 columns with 2 rows in one and one in the other.
Yeah, well, this is actually not done using a table. This is actually done using these tags here.
The head, okay.
These are called semantic elements, which means they mean something.
Gotcha.
So I had the header, the navigation, that would have been good to have used that instead. So let's do that. So instead of header, let's use nav.
Gotcha.
Nav. The header section will keep separate. Header. Let's leave it up there for right now, not knowing what
I see what you're saying.
to put in it. And see, now I got to go and change all of these
To what they were.
Well,
So if you were doing like in your portfolio, like I know you were putting the images one below another, what if you wanted to do horizontal to each other? Would you just use the NBSP in between the images?
well, let's see. If we wanted to scroll left to right, for example.
Yeah. Like if you have 4 images across that link to 4 other pages.
Oh, are you linking to other pages with your images?
Well, for example, like if you put your portfolio and say you have print for one of your images that would pull up to different page or different different print items.
So you're breaking up your portfolio into different sections, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Instead of having actual links, making images on that page with the main description, like one being print. Once you click on that image, it'll take you to all those different print ones.
Yeah, so I think I'm hearing you say that you want to break up your portfolio instead of having it all on one page. You actually would like to split it up and having the portfolio page kind of be a landing page that you then jump from there to the other sections.
Yes.
So in that case, you still have your portfolio page, landing page, but then you'd have, for example, 4 images on that page, but each of those images would actually be a link to another
page, right?
So let me show you.
But if you were to put those horizontal across from each other instead of up and down, like say you have 4 across and then below that you have 4 more across. What would be the easiest way to lay those out if you're using images with like text below it, but that image, I know how to make the actual image a link to a new page, but I'm saying to lay those out. Would you use them in columns or would you use them in sections like it's showing there?
Well,
I know it's complicated.
The way you're recommending, I think my first tendency would be to go to do a table.
A table.
And then that would be my first quick tendency, because I almost think that there's a trade-off. We don't want to leave table in the dust too much because there are certain applications where it makes sense to use a table.
Well, and that's what I was thinking of doing, is because you would have your columns with your different rows, which would space those out, equally where they need to be.
Yeah, I would jump to doing a table for that application. Your portfolio page would be like a little table. It's like a little nav table.
Yeah.
Each one would have little images, and the images themselves would be clickable. So let me make sure everybody knows how we do that.
I mean, I'm just thinking if other people want to do it that way. Like I've seen different portfolios that professional. I don't want to say professionals because I don't know if they are or not. I'm assuming they are. That have that kind of layout done to where your portfolio it is like a landing page to where it doesn't show everything. It can just show the basics. Because if you think about it, if you have print, instead of having
Right.
hundreds of them down one page,
Yep,
you can
I
have
agree.
specifics broke up.
Yep. Yeah, there's even more
Depending on how
fancy
much work you've done. Because that way, if you have a print one, you can click it and you have individual ones that could pull up that information about the specific company that you've done that for with how you did it or what the project was for. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, let's go over this on Wednesday night.
Okay.
And if you have a sample, or else we can work on it.
Okay. I might try to start working on that.
Okay.
Okay, and then the buttons we'll go over on Wednesday as far as making them in Photoshop.
Yeah, and I might even recommend, because nowadays the CSS, even though we haven't yet started CSS, but see, you can do all this just in CSS, and you don't have to.
I think of buttons like submit buttons. I don't think of them as like a navigation bar. Does that make sense? When you use a button, I always think of like a submit button or an email here button instead of an actual navigation bar. Is that what you're using those buttons? Because I was reading it like you were using it for the navigation bar.
Yeah, that's what they were recommending.
Is
So
using the buttons for the navigation.
I might just go over doing it in CSS, just because it'll start us thinking about CSS.
And then with CSS, you don't have to type in your individual home, about, and all that jazz either. You would just put the coding in your index page or on your major pages as a CSS page.
Right. You won't. The images are this right here, for example, is all dynamic. It even is interactivity. So it's it'll be a good stepping stone, I think, if we incorporated instead of the Photoshop images, layered images, we tackle this, because this is fairly new to you being able to in CSS do buttons. So
The problem with Photoshop, making a web page in Photoshop, is then you start using all kinds of JPEG images. You can build a whole website in Photoshop. You just got to go in and cut the different sections out and then put them back in as JPEGs, which to me seems like a lot more work. I mean, you can create it front end and see all of it, but then you got to go in and cut each individual section out and make it match.
yeah, there's a slice.
Yes.
I forget what it's called. Slice something.
It is Slice, where you take the individual slices, make them JPEGs, and then put it back together in your coding.
Right, and then you have the ability to export that HTML. That you can do the slice and then do export to web or HTML or something like that, and that's a way, but I don't think anybody's doing that.
I think it's too complicated, honestly, because then you get so many images. You got to really keep track of those images on where they go.
Yeah, I think that the export will take care of that.
Oh, when you said export it as HTML.
Yeah.
That just seems really complicated.
Yeah. Photoshop.
But for the assignment, we're doing basically like what you did today, just building from the, not necessarily the ground up, but building our actual sites off of like what we did last week.
Yeah, I did it from scratch, just so everybody knows how to do it from scratch. But I'm really not opposed to people using using templates.
Those templates are so complicated though. Because they're already made, and if you want to go in and you don't understand the coding,
Yeah.
like some of them with this being brand new to them, sometimes some of those templates have too much extra stuff in there and it confuses you even more.
Yeah, you're right.
I think learning it from the bottom up helps you understand those templates a little bit better.
Let's see. I can't remember where all the slice is. See, I don't do it like this.
I was going to say, it's been a long time since I've done it.
I can't remember how to do it.
Hang on, go back to...
There's YouTube videos on it, but... And then there's
Back to image. I guess there's trim. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while.
Then there's the export. Save for web.
Oh, is that it?
I think that's it.
Yeah, see, I've never done it that way.
All right. Well, let's talk some more on Wednesday night.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey, thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Night.